everyone, how are y'all doing? Please stay safe, okay? It's a very crazy pandemic going on out there. Okay, please stay safe. Anyway, today we're going to talk about quadratic equations. Okay, so quadratic equation, what is it all about? Okay, usually quadratic equation here, okay, I apologize. Okay, quadratic equation here is talking about three sections. Okay, first, we are talking about quadratic equation and inequalities, type of roots of quadratic equations, and quadratic functions. So I have decided to divide it into subsections here. So I don't want to tell it all out in one day and confuse you guys too much. Okay, it's a long video then. Okay, let's go. So quadratic equations. How does it work? Usually they'll actually divide into two main characters, which is first one is the completing square method and also solving it using formula. Okay, so completing square method is actually quite simple and quite direct. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, I've just picked part A here. You can guys do part B and then I can share you the solutions later if you want to. But here, let's look at the quadratic equation. First thing is always, okay, this is your first step, always move the constant term to the right hand side. Okay, so this is easing a confusion for a lot of students because some schools or some teachers will actually teach it where you bring in both of the equations and solve it on just on the left hand side, which I don't quite prefer to do. Okay, so I'll show you in mirror to this. So if you see here, add the term coefficient of x over 2 bracket square on the left and right. You see, in your certain teachers will actually prefer to do this. So plus 4 over 2 square, okay, and then minus 4 over 2 square equals to 0. So this is actually quite confusing and misleading because why? They will actually combine these two together and then they'll solve these two together, which is actually going to make things a lot more complicated. So I don't even want to do this. I don't want to confuse you guys. So I rather just discuss this. So anyway, so here, when you just separate them out together, you'll notice that the combination will happen as per normal. You'll get this, and then this part here is being solved. You'll get this, and then you can actually finalize to find the answer, where you can just bring the square that side, make it square root, and then solve it as per usual. Again, even use a calculator to find the roots. Okay, of course, using a calculator is the best, but this is to show you're working. Okay. Anyway. Next part here is talking about solving it by using the formula. Usually this formula is given in exams, so you don't have to worry about this. But anyway, I've displayed the formula here for your reference. And just take note, how do you take out the information? You can see here B, A, B, and C is needed to be substituted. So always remember, the always with the x square is A, with the x is B, and your constant is C. Okay, just substitute them and solve them accordingly and you get the final answer. It's quite simple and quite direct. Okay, so I hope you all understand how does factorization work. Now we'll talk about the generic understanding of a quadratic equation. Okay, so in a quadratic equation here, you always need to know that this A here is always equals to 1. Please take note of that. If there is no 1, make it equals to 1. Please don't mistake or get it confused. Make it to 1 first before you do anything. I'll show you later why is that very important. Anyway, so now sum of root. Sum of root means two roots is being summed up, okay, which is negative b over a. Okay, I'll show you the examples later shortly. Okay, now and also product of root is two roots being multiplied, which is c over a. So that means in a quadratic equation here, okay, ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. As I said, make a equals to 1, right? So x squared is equals to b over a, x plus c over a equals to 0. So also do take note, the plus minus is a bit confusing for the sum of root. Do take note here, there's a negative here. So if you see the standard equation here, always remember always remember, if there's a positive outside, meaning this inside here should be how do you express them? Because based on the equation here, they always put it negative. So when there's two negative being combined, this two is being combined, it'll become positive. So if, let's just say, this is negative, if this is now a negative function, this is negative here. So how do you do this? Very simple. Don't change this value. So just take this negative here. This guy here will be positive. Okay, so that's where you play with the equation. So don't worry about that. We'll talk about that later on when you want to manipulate the equation to get the function. Anyway, let's look at this question here. They give you two different roots. So this is your alpha and this is your beta. It's given here. Okay, sum of it, product of it, very simple. And then you already have your roots. Sum of root and product of root. Substitute them accordingly. And if you notice, the negative and this negative will combine together. The manipulation takes place when you want to do something fishy with the working, or when you want to draw a graph. We'll discuss that later on in the graphical idea. Okay, anyway, now let's look at this equation here. They're asking you, how do you solve this? Okay, again, as I said, make your A, okay, equals to, you see here, they write here, A is equals to 2, right? So if you use this method, you don't have to make A equals to 1. You just have to take what it is. So substitute it accordingly for sum of root and product of root, and then form your new equation. So here alpha plus 3. So that means your alpha here, what is your alpha and what is your beta? You can't find it discretely, two different values, but you can actually manipulate them. So if you see here, when they plus two roots, you just easily understand it as alpha plus beta plus 6. Simple. So alpha plus beta, you already have it. Negative 1 over 2, solved. And then when you do product of root, you know that when you open up the brackets, you'll have alpha, beta, and alpha plus beta. Just substitute them accordingly. Just do that and you'll get the answer. Okay. Anyway, now you see 2 alpha plus, okay, and 2 beta. See, sum of root here, 2 alpha plus 2 beta, factorize the 2 out, and then you'll just substitute them and get the answer. Also, when you multiply them, it's more quite direct. You can get this answer. And finally, just put it into the equation and get this. So always do remember, okay, this formula here is actually very, 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 very important. If you wonder, do they give it in exams? I'm not so sure. Please check with your teachers. But I'm pretty sure you need to understand how to use them, right? Okay. Anyway, I hope this is clear. So in the next class, we'll talk about quadratic inequalities. Okay. So do subscribe, do follow. I'll see you guys next week with a new installation of this topic. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good day.